Thanks a lot for joining us. But moving on, we're talking about this whole unlocked trade. Consumption has picked up and the paint sector is on our radar. Kansai Nerolac is a stock that has made a big comeback. The stock is up over 60% from its 52-week lows. H.M. Bharuka, the Vice Chairman and Managing Director of Kansai Nerolac, joins us now to talk about the demand picture. Mr. Bharuka, how is demand at the moment? Are you seeing a big pickup in the month of August versus what we saw in May, June and July?
Let us put it away. The demand every month is better than the previous month. So, and as far as decorative is concerned, if you look at our first quarter commentary, already we have better than pre-COVID level in the month of May and June. So I think to that extent, paint industry is doing better than perhaps other industry.
Okay. Well, good morning, Mr. Bharuka. Always a pleasure having you with us. Well, you know, the latest data we got on auto registration said that in August, auto registration is minus 45% compared to minus 35% in July. All of them are comparing year on year. Now, of course, you will know the best number only by the end of the month. But is there a feeling that, you know, we rose rapidly in June, July, but it is stalling by end of July?
Good morning, Lata. Yes, auto is still a concern area. And I think, you know, before I talk about, numbers, it is very important to understand, according to me, there are certain structural issues which are there in the economy. I think consumer behavior is changing. Work from home is actually, creating, some positives, some negatives, for the real estate sector. And I think, the way we sell our product, so technology will also change, the way people go to the market, the way we connect with the customers, that would also change. Coming on the auto, if you look at, yes, OEM, especially there are three segments which are two-wheelers, tractor and passenger cars, they are doing well. Whether they will continue to do well, I think we have to just wait for, signals. But if you look at finance, basically this business is driven by the financing. And there are, again, structural issues when it comes to financing this sector. Even the past financing EMI, I'm not sure whether they are being collected with the moratorium which was imposed. So going forward, how much finance will be made available? There are job losses which are taking place. So I think we have to be cautiously optimistic. We cannot say, look, that continuously we have now come back to the pre-COVID level and there are no more issues. So these issues are there still in the economy, whether it is OEM, whether it is a white goods, whether it is a real estate sector. So they are continue to pose a problem for all the industries. And I think we have to be very cautious on that. So just saying that, we have come to a pre-COVID level, decorative certainly will be a better, I would say. But other than decorative, when it comes to industrial, which is OEM or white goods, I think we have to be very, very cautious.
Apologies, I got carried away in my enthusiasm. It is just a couple of industrialists who told us that their fourth quarter, they believe, will be better than the fourth quarter of the year gone by. Of course, everyone is hoping that by then the infection curve will be flattened. I take your point on that. But Mr. Bharuka, what is your own analysis of the rural-urban split at least? Are you getting a sense that the tier 3, tier 4 cities are doing better than tier 1, tier 2? There is also a theory that now the infection has gone to tier 3, tier 4 and 1 and 2 are coming back. If you can give us any color.
No, definitely. I think, other than the metros, right from tier 1 to tier 3 and 4, I think all are doing well. Definitely, there is a good rural demand and the good rural income which is available, I would say. And definitely there is a good traction which is coming. Even in the last 3 months, what we have seen, demand is coming, extremely strong from these tier 2, tier 3 industries, tier 2 cities. So you're right, actually, the rural demand is very strong. And that is why you can see two-wheeler also growing, quite well. Tractor is also doing well. So definitely there is a good demand from rural sector. Agriculture, if you look at all the indicators, whether it is a fertilizers, right, whether the money which is being spent on the tier 2, tier 3, I think all are very positive. Manrega is also very positive. So rural demand, I think we are definitely bullish. Definitely there is a shift which has taken place and we hope that it is going to continue. And that will perhaps give a good traction, I would say, even to the white goods industry. So certainly rural demand is far better.
Mr. Bharuka, would you be concerned that this rural demand spurt may not sustain for two reasons? One is because now we are seeing an exodus of migrant workers return back to the cities to work. And two, COVID is now spreading to some of the rural parts of the country as well. Do you think because of these two reasons, this rural demand may not sustain?
Sonia, difficult to say, but I don't think so because migrant worker in any case were not contributing to the rural demand. Migrant worker coming back to city, I would say, is a positive for the metros as well as for the industry, because I think industry is definitely looking for them to come back. And if they come back, in fact, income level would rise and ultimately money goes back to the rural. So that's a positive, I would say. And whether COVID spreading to the interior, I would say this population to a large extent has not been very much affected by COVID. When I say they are not affected, I think the fear is much less than the fear what we have in the metros or among the educated class, I would say. So if you go to the rural market, if you talk to the rural people, I don't think they are much affected. They are aware of what is happening. And even if today's newspaper, the Economic Times, we look at it, it says that if you look at even a Pune where 53 people, populations perhaps already have got a herd, immunity. So if you look at rural market, I don't expect COVID to be affected. Social distancing is already there because it's widespread population in rural, and penetration level is still very low as far as we are concerned, our industry is concerned. So I expect rural demand to continue because it is driven mainly by the agricultural income.
Okay, that's good to hear. Any thought on raw material prices and margins for you for the second half of the year?
Lata, of course, crude oil has been low, so raw material prices have been, benign for us. But I think there are few, worries which are, like supply chain related, which are, dollar depreciating. In a way, it is positive, I would say, for rupee, but rupee has not actually appreciated to that extent. And the anti-dumping duty, which is, imposed on metal coming from China, or the concern for the metal which we are buying from China, I think would add to those concerns. Commodity prices have risen, and to large extent, we are also dependent on the commodity, prices. So TiO2, for example, is driven by the minerals, right? So I think these are the concern area which we do have, and even if we have alternates available from China, but the cost is going to be higher, and at the same time we are not sure whether the Western economies are geared up to those kind of demand, because in last few years there has been shutdown of many of those plants. So I think we have to be very cautious on that front.
Okay.
Definitely those supply and demand is going to perhaps drive the raw material prices rather than pure crude oil price.
Mr. Bharuka, is competitive intensity also pushing, pressuring your margins? Nippon is also entering the auto segment. So are you forced to undercut? Will your margins show the pressure?
See, competition, intensity was always there. I mean, whether it is decorative or whether it is industrial. If you look at on the auto, segment, I mean, last 2 decades, all the world players are already in India. And despite that, I think we have either maintained or increased our market share. So market share is not driven by purely, price. I think what is important is the quality, understanding the customer's line, understanding their problem, the knowledge management which we enjoy for last 3 decades supplying to them, the technology, understanding of our customers. So I think these are other factors which are driving it. And perhaps we are the only company which have 4 plants. So especially during this COVID situation, if there is a problem in any one of the plant, we can supply from other plants. Whereas if you look at competition, they have 1 plant, and also they are dependent a lot on intermediate imports. Whereas we are the only company which manufacture the entire intermediates. So I think to that extent, we are very confident about our abilities in sustaining our growth.
Okay, all the best, Mr. Bharuka. It was a really good speaking with you. We can hear the positivity in your voice, and we hope
And
that
the
continues.
caution.
And a little bit of caution, of course, that I think is necessary. But let's take a quick break on that note. Another space which has done really well of late in terms of both sectors as well as stocks is two-wheelers. We have two gentlemen joining in, Ramesh Gehani, the Executive Director and CEO of Endurance Tech, and Nikun Sanghi, the Chairman of the Automotive Skill Development Council, join in our next segment, What's Buzzing, to discuss the auto ancillary space that has been up and about.